Everywhere you look, everyone and their mother and their great grandmother has a prediction. A prediction of where Bitcoin is going. Some say it's going to zero. Others say it's going to 1 million. Well, we are no exception. So today, we will tell you and show you what we know. Here comes our own price prediction. And I will say this, here is a fact, okay? Bitcoin is not going to zero. That's for sure. Double up.
All right. What an introduction.
Look, man, we had to get spicy on that one.
Hey,
Because there's
Jamie
too
Dimon
many
said he's
people.
going to. Jamie Dimon is one of the people.
Too many people saying whatever they want. Okay, so I'm not mad at them. Freedom of speech is a beautiful, it's a beautiful thing. But of course, we cannot let them say what they want without us getting our 2 cents in. So let's jump right into it, sir.
Sprinkle our own little 2 cents in there.
Man, we're not sprinkling it, bro. We're splashing it at it. Okay. Yes, and we're splashing it in.
All right. Let's just go straight to it, man.
Yes.
First on the agenda is let's look at what the big banks are up to.
Yep.
Banks don't get into any business unless you CNN. CNN is not a bank, by the way. Maybe they might bank information and then rock pool people.
They're more innovators and experimenters. That's what they do these days. So they were just experimenting with that rock pool.
Yeah.
Yes. The best is yet to come. Yeah.
But yes, banks don't get involved in businesses if they're not gonna make money. And
Right.
here you hear thee. The biggest banks adopting cryptocurrency. They're adopting the innovation in the crypto space, right? Let's take a look at that list real quick. Standard Chartered, Bank of Wells Fargo, JP Morgan, Barclays, UBS, BNY Mellon, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, Citibank, PNB Paribas. Present.
Yes.
These are
Well,
some big names, man.
Those are the big names. Those are the guys who hold most of the money, right? And they're all getting into it. So I'll ask people, why are you not getting into it? But it goes even further because we also know that there's a lot of products by similar institutions, right? Around Bitcoin. So we see a list of Bitcoin ETFs offered by these institutions as well. Mind you, man, this is despite the whole ESG bullshit, which, if according to ESG, none of these companies should be offering something like this or even talking about it. They should be trying to ban it. We have ARK, BITO, BitQ, SPBC, BTF, the list goes on and on. Sato, Vote Crypto Industry Revolution ETF. And these are not small, small ETFs, if you will, right? We're looking at ETFs well over $620 million. Looking at the BITO one day, and of course ARK. ARK is one that I don't think she knows what she's doing now.
She's lost me a lot of money, by the way. Let's not even go back there.
Yeah, let's not even go there. So massive funds, right? All offering Bitcoin. Yet there is still this idea out here that Bitcoin is not the future. What are we missing?
That is minus the hedge funds, Grayscale, BlackRock.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, those
entire economies.
Yeah, they're not mentioned in this, right? So as we're looking at all of this, as you can see, this is going to mean something for the price of Bitcoin, right? When everyone is, well, in lack for a better term, on the Bitcoin standard, because I think that this is likely going to happen. There's going to be a lot of fighting for it. It's not going to be right away, but all the arrows are showing that this is the direction.
When you say arrows, I was thinking in my head, when you do technical analysis,
Yes,
the direction of the momentum,
the trajectory.
the trajectory,
Yes,
price
the
action.
future. Yeah, price action, all that good stuff. Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking
Yeah,
about too.
if you ever need a class on that, we're providing that as well. Reach out to us.
Hit us up.
Help you out.
We got you. Absolutely. Now, I know there is more. There's a few other ETFs absolutely worth mentioning here. We see 18 Bitcoin ETFs and cryptocurrency funds that you should know. Not financial advice. This is an article here from Kipling. And they go on to share just some more.
Beta.
Yeah, so we have Pro Shares Bitcoin ETF with $1.3 billion in assets under management. Well, what do we have?
Valkyrie. Yep.
$47.9 million, right? Vanek Bitcoin ETF, which I think this reminds me of of the days of public. Anyway, $29 million.
I have Beto, by the way. I'm holding some Beto.
Oh, you still have that?
Yes, I'm holding on to my Beto. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, I remember when that came out, and I just kind of stayed away from it. We have Global X, of course.
Yep, I have that as
Grayscale,
well.
as you mentioned, $25 billion of asset under management.
Yep.
Bitwise, $810 million of assets under management. We have Simplify, providing a Bitcoin ETF as well. Amplify, Sirens ETF, First Trust, Bitwise. The list goes on and on, right? You guys get the idea. But if all of these institutions are adding Bitcoins to their portfolio, and of course we know that Fidelity, not Fidelity. Is it TD Ameritrade? No, it's Fidelity. Might be offering actual Bitcoin purchases to their clients at some point.
Yep.
So there is that.
Yep. So yeah, I don't think we should be sitting down here showing people a bunch of technical analysis and charts. That is not what matters.
Right.
It's the technology, the adoption of the technology. That tells you what the future is.
Absolutely.
That would eventually correlate to the price eventually. Right now, it's just a lot of competition, a lot of misdirection, and a lot of people trying to accumulate at these price levels before they push it up. Banks are not going to get invested in this kind of things without making money. They're going to make money either up or down with their options trading or futures trading, but their goal is upward momentum. That's what banks do.
I would say, or maybe this is just me, but would you say that they in fact will not invest in things like this unless they have some sort of clarity and guarantees as to what it's going to achieve on the other end? So they have to have a goal where they know that it's profitable for them.
Yeah.
Does not mean it's right, but it just means that there's a lot of effort that has gone into it, and they maybe have gotten their friends to fall in alignment with them, whether it's through lobbying and other things like that. Don't we have some details? Do we have some details on like?
Yes, talk about lobbying. So there's this public citizens.org website that's talking about the amount of lobbying money that has gone into Bitcoin. The number of lobbyists representing cryptocurrencies proponents nearly tripled in just 3 years, jumping from 320 in 2021 to 115 from 115 in 2018. That's double. That's triple.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, that is triple. Yeah.
And the spending has gone up from 2.2 million in 2018 to 9 million in 2021. God knows how much to spend in 2022. There is a chart here.
I wonder if most of it came from Sam Bankman-Fried.
Hey, you just
FTX.
never know.
Yeah. That guy's been splashing some money around, man.
Yeah. Yep. There's a little chart at the bottom of the screen that shows the amount of millions that has been spent in lobbying. You know, you were cracking the joke earlier about, is lobbying the same thing as bribery? Hey, definition based on whatever continent you're in. But in a decentralized economy or space, you don't need to lobby your government to do what's right. But apparently, that's what we do in this country. And unfortunately, the lobbying has to get done for anything to move forward. But what we've been saying is that the lobbying getting done is getting done for the accredited investors, for the big
Absolutely.
banks, for them to make money
Absolutely.
in the space. So it's not going to zero. They want to make money. They're spending the money to make money. This thing is not going to zero.
Yeah. Well, I think for people who keep saying that it's going to zero, obviously there's a large uh, gap to be filled there.
Mm-hmm.
Clear ignorance, like Jamie Dimon,
Mm-hmm.
who refuses to join. It will be interesting to see. These guys are on the wrong side of history. I would definitely say that. Now, when it comes to this as well, you're talking about the lobbying that is going on,
Mm-hmm.
right? To make sure that this is more leaning in favor of those accredited investors and so on and so forth. We see that we have this fact sheet here, right,
Mm-hmm.
from the White House. Fact sheet from the White House.
Facts.
It's
Facts.
interesting when you get to a point where you see a fact sheet from the White House and you don't feel confident about it. Anyway,
Yep.
the White House releases first ever comprehensive framework for responsible development of digital assets. It's a framework which was not agreed on by anyone, um, but it's out here. What are your thoughts on this one?
Well, first thing first. At the end of this video, there'll be a video about our analysis of the fact sheet. Check
Yeah.
it out. Um, this fact sheet is a bunch of there's some good aspects to it. The fact that we need regulations around the junk coins out there. But it's been very lobby. It's been very influenced by the banks, by those that are in play to make a lot of profits
Right.
from the technology, and also displacing retail investors like you and I. So if you want the true facts, check out our channel. Check out other channels like us, because the White House so-called fact shit is big money shits.
Well, look at this here, man. I'm just going to read this one piece here because I thought it was a bit interesting for me at least. So, since taking office, the Biden Harris administration and independent regulators have worked to protect consumers. I don't think they're trying to protect consumers. We'll put that out there first. And ensure fair play in digital assets market by issuing guidance. Guidance that, nobody asked for. Because I think these people think that people in the general public are stupid. I think people in the general public can figure these things out. Because when you have people like CNN Rock pulling people, and the White House does nothing about it, your guidance is misguided. Increasing enforcement resources and aggressively pursuing fraudulent actors. Do you think that's what the SEC is doing already right now?
Hey, the White House told them to do it. Use your tools. Who's the White House? The big banks.
Well, there we go. Double up. What are we looking at on this one here?
Oh, chain analysis. If you don't know this company, you need to know them. If you're on the decentralized blockchains, as they say, you need to know them because they are selling your information to the government and they're coming after you for their taxes. That said, though,
Absolutely.
they have the info. They have the 404 on everything out there. Here is a chart. They basically tell you the adoption rate of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies around the globe, around this planet. And facts, it's not slowing down.
It's definitely not slowing down, and this is definitely there. Obviously, as you can see, one other thing that I see when I'm looking at this chart here, is the fact that Chainalysis is definitely, how would you say, sticking its hooks right across everything globally, trying to track and report this information to the government, and so on and so forth. Now, one interesting thing, and this I think that this is the probably the biggest angle that governments around the world would probably have to come at Bitcoin, is this KYC situation.
Oh, P2P too, man. P2P
Yeah,
for sure.
I don't know. They're definitely going to try to take P2P too, right? Now, but I think P2P is, you can't stop it. It's
Yeah.
unbeatable because P2P it's just me and you. As long as you're up and I'm up, we're good to go.
Yep.
I can send you Bitcoin, you send me Bitcoin. Um, but I think even with KYC, as people begin to exchange and spend Bitcoins, right? How long or how much are you going to track something before you find a person who you're looking for? Um, Now, of course, when they say aggressively enforcing things, maybe they might try to like block the outlets for Bitcoin. Like, say, if you're on Coinbase, all of a sudden you might not have the option to send Bitcoins outside of Coinbase, right? I mean, it's a feature. They can just disable it. You know,
The biggest agenda is CBDCs and stablecoins. They don't even want
Yeah.
you to use Bitcoin.
exactly. So they don't want you to use Bitcoin. So it's a. But here's the thing. Despite all of this, I think one thing that we need to pay attention to, right? Because at the end of the day, we're talking about what does this mean for the price of Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
The bottom line is, despite all of these things, and these are all battles that we're going to have to fight in the future,
Mm-hmm.
but the adoption of the Bitcoin itself is happening, right? We see that the institutions are putting their money into it. Remember, society always decides what money is at the end of the day.
Yes.
So when all else fails, after all of their efforts have been proven to them to be in vain, I think they still do not want to be the people who miss Bitcoin. So, with that being said, I do not see Bitcoin going to zero, given everything that we've been laying out and everyone else on the internet is showing. But as far as the price upward, I don't think there's a limit. It's just gonna go where it's going to go.
ARC just came back yesterday and said, "Oh, it's gonna be 67K." What
Who
technical
cares,
analysis
man?
did you do
Who
to do
cares,
that?
man?
We told them last
Did
year when
Ark
they were saying
did
it was
Ark
going to 100 million
did
that
did
it was
Ark tell
nuts.
us did Ark tell us last year that their ARKK ETF, their flagship ETF, was going to be almost $40 this year?
Don't remind me of how much money I'm losing on that.
No, I mean, no, true. I'm just saying, but there's the credibility behind these people, okay? um, or lack thereof, if you will.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because this woman, she poses as the macroeconomist, right, and so on and so forth. But but, I mean, granted, she cannot control what the Fed does, but at the same time, it's also things that you're supposed to have a look at. Because if not, if what advantage do they have over me and you just handling our own portfolio if they cannot obtain information that is useful to you, like knowing that the Feds are going to wreck the markets, raise interest rates non-stop to wreck the markets. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there is that. Go ahead.
Let me add something to the screen real quick.
Yes.
Just, to add some little flavor. There is this chart that shows, again from chain analysis, the different technology sections or the different areas where,
Yes.
sectors of the blockchain space. There's DeFi, there's peer-to-peer, there's the old decentralized space, and we have all these big major countries, right? By the way, America's ranked 111 on peer-to-peer. We are so behind. We're so reliant on centralized systems that we don't believe in peer-to-peer. We trust our government so much. Well, you have places like Vietnam, Philippines, rankings. These are the people that know what's up. Ukraine is number 3. Maybe until we have a taste of war, maybe people will start adopting the crypto technology. I won't be surprised if Russia is up there. Guess what? It is. Russia is number 9. The people decide the money. The government wants to push currencies at you. Currencies that they can inflate or deflate whenever they want. Steal your value. You want to keep your money and store your money, your value. Which is why we're saying, why not just adopt Bitcoin? Don't stress it. It's that simple.
Not financial.
The top
advice.
list of countries here are the same citizens that have the biggest challenges. I'm sure Nigeria is up there as well. Check it out. Number 11.
Yep.
The people are frustrated, and that is why they are adopting Bitcoin.
In the first world countries, obviously there seems to be this clear. I don't know. It's laziness. There is a laziness to adopting Bitcoin because they're not necessarily feeling the impacts of, you know,
their government, the strain.
A horrible leadership and a horrible economy. Because if you live in these other third world countries, you felt the pressure for a very long time, and you know that it's nothing to be played with. So that is why I think where it's clearly the reason why you see these other countries taking to Bitcoin much more faster than the US. But I think America needs to step it up and get on the Bitcoin thing, because if they don't, I think they will just be left trailing for a very long time. America needs to adopt Bitcoin. I think that Bitcoin is beneficial for America instead of the private sector trying to use Bitcoin as a play to further their profits. So it is what it is, man. We'll see what happens, but I think it cannot be stopped. People need to remember it's not just an American asset. It is a global asset, and there are other factors outside of just what happens in the US markets that will for sure impact this price of Bitcoin. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But if you could give a number, a price prediction, right? Let's show Ark. What would you say over the next 5 years for Bitcoin?
5 years? Oh, that's a lot of time. 5 years. I have to go back and look at my technical analysis.
We're here for long-term activities.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
I guess. Let me pull up the chats. Give me a second.
Based on what you know. Just based on what you know.
Based on what I know?
Based on what you're looking at, all the information that we have seen here. And of course, use your charts, but only the information that you know in your mind without looking right now.
We will supersede the 100K level in the next 3 years.
Next 3 years. Okay.
Yeah.
I think we'll see 100K in actually 2 years. Less, maybe, actually. Yeah, 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay, carry on. 5 years.
Yeah. 5 years, maybe 500,000, depending on the global adoption.
Okay,
and if we have a major war that forces people to store their value in a blockchain like Bitcoin, because what happened in Russia and Ukraine is a good example, and you can already see that on the list. Ukraine is number 3, Russia is number 9.
Nice. Well, I don't think it's going to be a war. I think it's going to be an economic catastrophe that will take us there. But I think in 5 years we'll definitely be at $1 million. There it is.
Hello.
I said it. You heard it here first. To $1 million we go. Okay. Well, that's all I got for this one, man. I think this is all interesting stuff. It's all in the favor of Bitcoin, if you ask me, really. The adoption, which is really the main thing we want. But you don't always get things the way you want it. And it's just the reality. This is how it's happening. And I think that as Bitcoiners, we need to understand everything that's going on and see how we can better place ourselves to not be disadvantaged in this new economy. Any final thoughts, sir?
As always, if you've not liked and subscribed, we want to hear back from you. Perfect.
Oh man, look at that. The camera. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
All right.
It's all right. Still perfect. Perfect.
Man.
Always perfect. Like, subscribe, follow us on social media, on this centralized social media outlets.
Centralized outlets. Love it. Agreed. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching the video. Until next time, praise and out.
And double O.